Hello, everyone. How are you? I am Elena Valdez, and we are going to do the May reading for the parents of the Aries child. I hope everyone is doing great. Thank you to everyone returning. I greatly appreciate your support. Welcome to anybody new. I hope you find this reading useful. And yeah, if anybody requires clarification on anything, please go ahead and leave me a comment. Also, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe, like. That helps the algorithm quite a bit, actually. So, all right, so I have a little bit of a different setup here today. So we're going to see how this works for us, okay? Yeah, let's see. Let's give it a go. What do you say? Okay, also, I'd like to acknowledge that I am aware that we have different age ranges here. Some of you are here for itty bitty babies. Others of you are here for a little older, like teenagers, and others of you are here for everything in between. And some of you, I know, are here for adults. Anyhow, it's all good. Welcome. Now, let's start with the reading. Again, this is for May, for the parents of the Aries child. And this first position will give us an indication of what your Aries child may be experiencing here in the month of May. Okay, so we have the King of Pentacles and the Moon. Very nice. Okay, so these are very interesting energies. They're a little bit different from one another, but nice combo together. Right now, as I'm just getting this huge rush of energy regarding a mom situation. And what I mean by that is that there is some kind of energy happening with one of you, one of your Aries here, in terms of really needing to connect with the mother. Almost like and this is very interesting because it's not the King of Pentacles energy at all. This is just extra info, if you will. This is very specific, and this is probably only going to apply for maybe one of you here. But there's a sense that there's almost like a not wanting to let go of the mother. So maybe there's a child here who is returning to school. I know a lot of children are returning to live in-person classrooms, and that could be the situation here. But there's a feeling here that little Aries, as independent as he or she may be here, there's also a sense of not wanting to let go of the mother, whether it's because they are returning to a classroom setting, or perhaps the mother has returned to work. And I do want to back up a little bit, because even though this is mother, that can also symbolize the nurturing parent. So for some of you, that's the mother is not necessarily going to resonate. The mom or the nurturing parent in your household may very well be a male figure. So please don't, flip the gender as needed. This is not a gender specific reading in any way. But I do very strongly get this feeling of an Aries here who's fully coming into their own. There's like this surge of independence, right? Because the King of Pentacles is very much about being in his or her own authority, right? And getting things accomplished, getting all their little goals and their assignments and whatnot done. But there's something here about this pairing with the moon that gives me a sense that although this growing up is happening, this mini adulting, if you will, because the child here is moving on to the next level in their schooling, maybe their next level in work or whatever it is, depending on their age, that at the same time that that's going on, there's a feeling of not wanting to let go of that nurturing parent, right? So even though Aries is experiencing himself or herself in a very independent, self-reliant, self-sufficient. I'm good. I'm accomplishing all I need to do. At the same time, there's a sense of a bit of isolation, potentially some sadness regarding the involvement of a nurturing parent. So, again, this could be the mother. In most cases, it will be the mother. But in other cases, the nurturing parent in your household may actually be the father, right? Depending on your family dynamic. But this is very significant because it does kind of give you an insight, because this is very, very Aries, also Sagittarius. And I know that this is a very generalized um, thing here that I'm about to say, but it is very Aries and also very Saggy, where, there's a sense of self sufficiency while also needing things that people don't necessarily think an Aries or Sag typically need, because they are so independent and so self sufficient and self reliant, that sometimes as parents or as the adults in these little guys' lives, we may actually think that all is well because, well, look at how wonderful they're doing, right? They're accomplishing so much. So I think this is Spirit's way of giving you a heads up, dear parent, that even though little guy here or little gal is doing just great in all that he or she is accomplishing, there's also something happening behind the scenes of missing the nurturing parent, or wanting more time with that parent, or needing more of that nurturing sense, right? The moon is very receptive, it's very mysterious, it's very, very much related and associated with the mother, um, in all things nurturing. So there's something here, potentially also, by the way, this can also apply to a grandmother or or the maternal grandparent. So yeah, something to be on the lookout. So while your little Aries seems very independent to you, parent, just keeping in mind that maybe there's something else going on in the background that, he or she's not really speaking up about. Okay, because that's another thing here with the moon. It's about stuff that happens in the background. Okay, so it's not always front and center. This is like what's hidden, right? So, yes, the external life of Aries shows accomplishment, right? Little Aries is doing, for the itty bitty ones, they're taking their first steps and they're loving it. And, for others, they're accomplishing things at school and sports and all that good stuff. But just remember that even though all looks well, little Aries still needs a lot of that mothering, nurturing, tender TLC, if you will. Okay, so now we're moving into a potential conflict here, or potential challenge that your Aries may be facing here in the month of May. The Five of Cups. Yeah, your little one is missing someone here. This is definitely the card of missing someone, feeling the loss of something or someone. So, and the Six of Wands is, about victory and being celebrated. And to me, right now, this is feeling again very maternal. It's almost like the head of the household that holds the flame for everyone. You know how there's always that one person in the household that's the glue? For me, right now, the Six of Wands is showing up that way. It's like missing the one that holds the glue, or the one who is the glue. There's a sense of that. So maybe and so this is the conflict or the challenge. This is what's kind of, tripping up Aries here a little bit, because the person or people or maybe even thing that once helped little Aries feel victorious or good, or maybe like the parent that is always giving the accolades, or the acknowledgement or recognition to Aries, is somehow MIA, perhaps because they went back to work, or maybe a little Aries is no longer, in the living room 24/7 because now that he or she is back, live in a classroom. And so, yeah, there's a sense of missing that. There's a little bit of sadness. That's another thing with Aries. And I know this is another generalization, but for the most part, you know, sometimes it appears that Aries are don't necessarily need others again because of that independence, but actually Aries are very, very loyal and very much attached to the people they choose to care for or that they do care for. And this also applies to little ones too, because this doesn't have to be a parent, right? It can be another sibling that they're missing. Again, the sibling that brought the accolades, the affirmations, the acknowledgement to your little one, whomever that is in your household, whoever held the candle for everyone or holds the candle for everyone, something has shifted. And so, yeah, there's a little bit of, oh, poor me over here happening, right? So, oh, little Aries. Okay, so let's see here what your Aries child needs from you, and this will give us some insight as to how to navigate this piece of it. This will let us know if there's anything additional that you can do as a parent or not. Oh yeah, see, Five of Pentacles. There's something going on in your household right now, dear parent. My heart goes out to you. Um, I see here that some of you are experiencing some loss, right? Because we have the Five of Cups in the challenge and in the conflict, rooted by the Six of Wands, which tells me it's the loss or the feeling that this energy of this thing or person is potentially missing. And then here, where we move into what your child needs most from you, it's enunciated here with the Five of Pentacles, which is a very similar energy to the Five of Cups. The difference here, though, is that the Five of Pentacles is about more about an internal feeling of maybe not feeling good enough or valuable, or maybe your family household is experiencing some financial loss or shift, or potentially things just look different. There's something different happening in your household that has shifted the way things look externally, right? However, one thing that I'm very drawn to right now is a similarity here between the moon and the high priestess. Very, very similar energies. The high priestess is associated with the sign of Pisces, which is another mysterious, again, you have the enunciation there of the moon. You see that? Like there's this whole other, it's like something has been illuminated or potentially something has come full circle. The cycle of something, right? Because the lunar cards represent phases and cyclical manners and whatnot. And so, in terms of what you can do for your child here in May, is help them accept this new cycle, this new change that's making him or her feel a little isolated. Um, there's a sense of, again, it's I'm really getting the strong feeling here that this is connected to another person that in the past has served to lift up little Aries. Maybe it's a teacher, maybe it's a former teacher that your little one loved and is no longer going to be in the classroom for whatever reason, right? And so, what you can do here is hold them high in this intuitive space of, you know, it's almost like you, dear parent, behind the scenes are going to need to do the work here, whether it's through praying for your little one, meditating for your little one, um, you in your own essence, knowing the truth. It's almost like there's also a truth here that spirit is advising that it is important to for the time being, in order to protect your little one, whatever piece of information needs to be withheld for now may be the best course of action. Now, I wouldn't typically say that. In fact, many times, a few times actually, I've said several times on other readings that sometimes we make the mistake of thinking we need to shield our little ones by keeping information, when in fact, when we keep information, we're not necessarily protecting them. If anything, we're blinding them to the reality that could be helpful in helping them heal. However, in this situation, there is a sense here, there's an urge to keep something at bay for now. So you as a parent, whomever you are, I have this strong sense that some of you listening here today are actually grandparents or even guardians or soon to be guardians potentially of this little guy or girl. And the advice here, not the advice, but rather what your little one needs most from you here in May is to keep what needs to be kept for now, to help little one here make sense of the cyclical change here that's taking place, and the cycle that's closing out and the new that's coming in. And help them tie in, help them, because there is a strong, strong sense of feeling isolated, feeling sad. All the while, this other beautiful energy is happening. So we don't want to interrupt this, right? Because this is very productive for little one here. So in what ways can you maybe fill in the gaps of whatever this person, whomever this is represented by, whether it's a former teacher, another parent, whatever this is, in what ways can you maybe, for the time being, fill in the void or fill in the blanks? Especially if it's just a situation of a parent being away on a business trip, perhaps. Yeah. There's definitely some stuff of loss, and there's stuff going on here in your household, dear parent. And my heart goes out to you, whatever that is that's happening. I see things happening, financial issues happening that perhaps are not, that you yourself as a parent are being affected by, and therefore it's spilling into little one, right? Like little one kind of knows, even though you may not be speaking of it, it's like behind the scenes, right? Because you have these behind the scenes cards. Even though things are happening behind the scenes, there's the little one can feel that. Let me see if there's an advice card here for you, dear parents, in terms of any additional advice, dear spirit, for the parent of Aries child here. Oh, that one flew. And it's connected to this here. So let's see. Yes. Oh, honey. Yeah. It's the Hermit paired with the Five of Pentacles. Okay. All right. So, yes. So the advice card here, it's twofold. There's a need for your family, you yourself as a parent, your family, whatever this change is that you're going through is requiring you, maybe not even requiring you, it's almost like forcing you into isolation, right? And maybe it's because maybe there's a reason. I feel like there's a reason. Let me see, what do I have here? Yeah. Okay. So it's almost as if you, the parent or parents or guardian, had to make a decision, maybe moving away from the family, maybe cutting someone out, because we have the Daughter of Swords here. So that's about new communication, sometimes also about ending communication that's not moving forward, that's at the beginning stages of something, and before it becomes something, you put an end to it. So that can translate into maybe a family member that potentially wasn't bringing the best energy to you or your household, and therefore you had to, put some boundaries there. But little ones don't understand, right? Like little ones don't know that the stuff happens between adults and that boundaries need to be put in place. And so in this hermit phase that you are potentially going through here with your family, because sometimes this also comes up as advice because there's need for healing here. But remember, it fell. Literally, you saw that. It flew right on the Five of Pentacles. So there's a connection here. So there's some healing that needs to happen regarding finances or whatever decision you made to isolate yourself from others or to isolate your child from others, right? And potentially you pulled your child away from a friendship or a school to put him or her in a better school, or perhaps, for financial reasons, your child can no longer go to the school that they were going to. And so it's sort of put the entire family in this hermit Five of Pentacles mode, right? But the energy I'm getting here is that it was necessary. So whatever that change was to your parent, there's no need to feel any guilt about it. No need to second guess yourself here in the quiet and then, in the late at night at 3 a.m., that kind of stuff that happens because you obviously did the right thing, right? If that is what's happening in your household, because there are two scenarios happening here, right? There's the one scenario where mom just went back to work, or a parent just went back to work, or little one went back to school, and there's a missing piece, missing them action. And then there's another group of you who have pulled away from certain family members or certain key people who were once a part of your little one's life, but for good reason. And it's putting your family almost in this hermit, isolated mode, right? But you did what was necessary. And even if this was not something that was instigated by you, so for example, if this isolation happened by the other family member, even if that's the case, dear parent, this was necessary, right? For whatever reason, obviously we don't know that now. We don't have the answers now. But in terms of your child, the only thing in terms of your little one, your Aries, because this reading is about your Aries, right? The best course of action here in terms of what they need most from you is to continue help facilitate your little one into understanding that changes are necessary, even if you're not yet ready to talk about why, right? Like maybe someone did something in your family that you just thought unacceptable, but it's adult stuff, right? So your little one is maybe not old enough to know why, and that's okay. That's for you to keep for yourself. But there is a way to involving your little one where at least your little one has some understanding to know that, well, people move on, things happen for a reason, and we do our best. Now, of course, you're going to handle that in whatever best way suits you, dear parent. But yes, I feel you. It's a heavy month. For little one here, and I'm sending you lots of hugs. I do want to end this reading by seeing, yeah, oh my goodness, and the theme continues to repeat itself. Yeah. So this is a card that I've been pulling as a final message. And this usually I say is for the entire family that you're here for, not just your little Aries, but this is for you and your entire family. And the card we got here is rescue. Yeah, so there's something that needed to be walked away from in order to help your family heal, in order to there were potentially some boundaries here that were crossed. And it was necessary for you to, you know, set the boundary and say, no, this is not acceptable, and therefore you are no longer going to be a part of our family. And at the same time, it's causing this other pain. So there's some stuff. Oh my gosh, please, if you feel inclined to, and if it's not too personal, um, please feel free to comment, or yeah. Sorry. By the way, this card here, I'm for, and this is a very, for very few of you here. If you have been thinking about therapy, family therapy, or therapy for your little one, this is also can sometimes come up as a confirmation. Okay. Alrighty. I hope this was somehow helpful, if not at least a confirmation. And please leave a comment. Please like, please subscribe. I am so grateful that you stopped by today. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your May. Thanks. Bye.